G'day legends, it's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here. Before we get stuck into another great interview brought to you by Crank.com and that metalstation.com, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and that way you can keep up to date with all the best music and interviews from all over the world. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crank.com and with that metalstation.com. So tonight, wherever you are in the world, I'm having a chat with Joseph Izayea. Some of you may remember I did have a chat with him last year around November with a solo album that was an absolute ripper, the Heart of Truth album. And I'm getting to have a chat with him now because he's finally dropping the EP for Seeking Sirens, which is an unreal EP, man. I've had a really, really good listen to it the last few days. Departing Ways comes out 3rd of June. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. So side note, like, the Heart of Truths thing was like, that was really like a flight of fancy for me. It was like a total side project. So like, that being said, like, well, why is the Seeking Sirens EP coming out after? I got a couple questions about that. And I was just like, hey, that wasn't me, man. I've been done with this record. I finished tracking vocals for this record like almost 2 years ago. My counterpart, Kevin Wilson, who's also like the engineer for most of the, mixing and all that stuff. He's just been super busy. So, was just like, I was kind of at his mercy, just like wait for the, like, hey, man.
Exactly. And we talked about all of that in the last interview we done as well, mention about that being strictly the side project and the album with all the guests that come onto it. So it really was, this is a totally different beast, as is all the projects you do. You put 100% into each one of them. So there's 500% of you anyway, Joe. So it must be good to finally get this one out. Tell me a little bit about the meeting of minds between you and Kevin.
So Kevin, who also, he played guitar in my brother's band, Fear the United, for years. A great band, and I've known him forever. And we'd always had toyed with the idea of like, yeah, man, it'd be great to like record some stuff, this, that, and that, yada, yada. And, me being me, I something isn't like concrete in my mind until like I have something to work on. So it was always like, yeah, man, when just send me some stuff. I'll get cracking on it. No big deal. I'm about it, man. Let's do it. And but it finally happened during the pandemic. So it was like 2020. We were like getting into this, and it was cool. It's like Kevin's now playing guitar in my brother's new band, Posthuman, which is weird because it's like Posthuman. Like half of that band is Seeking Sirens now. It's just like we're just like sharing band members and stuff. It's kind of funny how that all worked out, but yeah, so we've been going back and forth and just kind of talking about it and fantasizing about it for years, and it finally came together. It was like, oh man, I've been sitting on this for a while, so I just can't wait. We got the video all set. That's going to be dropping in tandem for Departing Ways. We did the title track music video for that, so I got to send out the last batch of edit notes for that, and I'll have the final cut of that in my hands in a few days. So like, it's just been cool getting all that to come together finally with, like setting up some PR and like getting the distro set up and getting the, the YouTube stuff all put together. It's been a lot of work. But it just, Kevin's kind of awesome about that because it's like, he handles just about everything in the control room, and everything outside of the control room is basically me. So we both play to our strengths in that regard. And it really shows in the final product, man. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, it does. It's an unreal EP. I love metalcore music, dude. And you have just such an amazing voice. We briefly touched on Seeking Sirens, but we were talking about your other stuff this time. So it's good to come back and talk about Seeking Sirens. Your voice and the metalcore sound you have, dude, is unreal. Just your voice in general, man. The two singles that come out was The Surface and Splinter, I think, are the first two singles I'd caught, and everybody else, I hope, has listened to that. If they haven't, they need to go check them out, and it is up on your YouTube channel. Do work kind of antithesizes what you do, but can you tell me a little bit about those first two singles, Surface and Splinter?
Yeah, so I mean, initially the plan was, we were gonna drop a single with a video, drop a single with a video, and then drop the EP with a video.
Yep.
And because everything just kind of got delayed because of Kevin's busy schedule. We kind of wound up spreading that out when really it was supposed to be like over the course of maybe 3-4 months. I think we like initially slated this to come out in Halloween of 2020, and just with the nature of the beast, with everything that had worked out, it just didn't pan out that way. But Surface was really cool because like that. We actually had, I think his name's Julian. I can't remember his last name. It might be Julian Mazzola. I'm not sure. But we had a co-producer come in and write some of the instrumentals for that, and it was really cool because it was the first kind of rock song metal thing that I've ever done where I didn't scream at all. As a matter of fact, I had some screams on it, like layered stuff, and like I had a little thing in the breakdown. And Kevin just took all that stuff out, and he was like, no, this is beautiful just the way it is. I feel really strongly about this. Let me have my way with this, and I'll let you have your way with the rest of them. And I was like, okay, so that was brand new. That's the first song that I've ever put out there that wasn't like a piano track or like an acoustic track or an unplugged thing. It was literally the first like full production audio I'd ever released where there was no screaming on it at all. So, I was just like, all right, well, it's still sometimes like I'll listen to it and I just I still go back and I'm like, man, I can't believe that that's me, and that there's no screams on here. I'm almost like waiting for them to show up and they're still not there. And so that was really cool, and it was, the video came out awesome. We did a lot of, we had a really great lighting guy come in and do some stuff. I program a lot of lights for some of the videos I do for different projects. For instance, most of the lighting for Splinter in that video, like I had programmed and done. I've done some stuff from Under Concrete Kings too, I believe. So it was cool to just see that kind of come together. And the idea was we were going to drop this single that was all pretty and gorgeous, and be like, oh man, what a cool rock band or whatever. And then we were going to hit them with Splinter and be like, what the hell? What is this? And we did that in a way because they came out relatively close to each other. And then just, we hit a brick wall with mixing and stuff, and that just kind of threw it for whatever. But Splinter was really cool because it was Splinter was the very first track that I had written and recorded after a tremendous, huge falling out with one of my closest friends. Like I considered this kid a brother, like a member of my family, and we had a huge falling out. It was such a bad betrayal, and just it was literally, I still sometimes think about it and get mad about it because it hurt so bad. It was like nobody in my life had ever done me as dirty as this person had done me. So I had so much to say for Splinter. And then Departing Ways was actually the second track I recorded out of that. So like first and second tracks I recorded after all this stuff went down were these two tracks. And then I started like interjecting Harder Truths, Concrete Kings, other stuff I had going on. So they just, both of those, Splinter and Departing Waves, the title track on the new record that's dropping in a couple weeks, are probably the most heinous, hateful, venomous stuff I've ever written, recorded. I was mad, didn't cover it. I was literally quaking with rage in the studio and just like blew my voice out once or twice, like dripping with sweat. Like I had so much bad stuff to get out over that. And it really reflected in the final product, which I'm stoked.
Well, you can feel that emotion. You can definitely feel that emotion in that EP from the start of it, dude, right to the end. I was totally hooked on it, man, and I want to go back and hear it again, man. But from that opening track, Departing Ways, you can sense that emotion in your voice as well, and to the EP, man.
Jai, man, really, I consider you to have a really good taste in what's good and what's not. I like a lot of the same stuff that you like and talk about, and I've checked out some of the bands that have been on your show. Thank you for having me on the show, by the way. And that's a huge compliment. I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, it's just kind of awesome. My bunny ears, my career, it's really kind of been picking up over the past few years. Part of that's been because I've been increasing my production, but just stuff's been getting a lot more traction. Like I just hit 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, which is not really that's nothing, but like
It's something. It's good.
It's good. Yeah, like I've never had that before in any of the
For
bands.
1,000 people to give a fuck and at least press that at times.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
And it's got like the channel in total's got like I don't know, man, like something like 1 million views.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of it's been good, man. It's especially the Heart of Truths record and just the coverage that this stuff has gotten. It's been awesome to see that kind of start to pick up and snowball and stuff. And I'm just glad that after all this time, I still have so much to say.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it is a testament to your work as the YouTube channel, like I mentioned last time, do work, dude. Like you were constantly busy working. Like you've done this EP, no doubt you and Kev are already bloody working hard towards the next one.
We have at least we've already got 5 in pre-production for a next one if we decide to do a next one. This started out as a recording project with like the idea of like, yeah, man, we'll put this record together, we'll play a few shows a year, we'll see what happens. We'll send it out, see if anybody wants to pick it up, touring management, whatever. See if any clubs are interested, blah blah blah, and just see what happens. And it kind of like blew up into that of like, oh wow, this is doing really well. Like Surface got a bunch of views, blah blah blah. So it was like, yeah, we're gonna do that. And then we had a couple member changes, which the member changes kind of happened because the record was taking so long. Like inactivity is the that's like the predecessor of boredom, and boredom is the predecessor of abandonment. So like there's nothing going on, people get bored, they go and do other things, and then that's basically how that kind of worked out. So then we had to go and get a couple other people to fill in, stand in for the shoot, and like come in and do some stuff and record some things, and it was really great because those guys, Dave, also from Posthuman, and my good friend Chris Kilcup, was an Incinerate the Fallen local band up my way years ago. Both of them were like, dude, this stuff is amazing. Let's play. Let's do the things. We love this stuff. This is awesome. We want to do the things. So now there's like this talk, and it's like people in the project, like Kevin's kind of like, man, man, I think maybe we can play a few shows, man. And he's like kind of like low key like that. He'd be like, man, I think maybe we should. I know we were talking about maybe not doing it, but I was talking to Dave, and Dave was really excited about it and everything. Maybe time to go and book some shows. I'm like, sure, man, just let me know when. And that was like, all right, I'm gonna put the ball in your court here, and just you tell me when, because I had to give him the come to Jesus, which was like, dude, if we're gonna go and do something, then I'm gonna make time and set aside resources to make sure that gets done. So, if I go and do that and then it's not going to get done, I'm going to lose my shit.
Yeah.
I'm literally going to lose my shit. So you need to be really sure if that's what you want to do, then that's what we're going to do. I'm happy with it, whatever we got. Like the record came out great. The videos came out great too. So if we only wind up playing a couple shows, no shows, we go on tour, whatever, I'm happy with the end result. So it's just it's interesting, man, because like I just got a lot of that's basically what's going on with a lot of the bands that I'm in.
Yeah.
And then I got this other project. I have a shoot on Sunday for a 5-track EP for a band called Bleed Like My Lee. And the record and the video is entirely based on the movie Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Dude, I was just talking about this with a guy from Len, I'm kicking myself because he's a good friend of mine. He's a really cool dude. But we're just talking about kickboxer as well. Jim Taylor, he's in a band with Morgan from Seven Dust and Corey from Cedar and that. We were just talking about kickboxer the other week, man. It's funny how this comes up. We got off and
it all circles. It all circles. So like, I'm when I get an idea, I'm kind of like a dog chasing a car. I don't know what I'm going to do once I get the thing, but I go after it. So like, me and my buddy Josh, who's my counterpart from Under Concrete Kings, and my very good friend Doug Waite, who I was into Die This Night for a few years, and he went on to play in Gomorrah, a big Providence thrash band, blah blah blah. And we used to be in a band together. We literally would have like Bloodsport, Kickboxer, Time Cop, just on the DVD player in the jam space, just playing while we were having practice, we were hanging out, whatever, and we always would talk about this. So then we started talking about it and it was like, we're going to do this. And I was like, okay. So let me just tell you real quick, like, I have this really cool gift of like being able to get like a $10,000 to $20,000 music video out of like a $2,000 to $3,000 budget. I DIY a lot of stuff. I make a lot of stuff happen. I, barter services, like whatever. I make that work. But like, so I personally have dropped, by the time just the video, never mind the record, just the video is done, me and Doug will have dropped like $5,000. Yeah. So like we built like sets. We built 2 sets, a fighting platform. We hired 2 martial artists. Wow. Like, crazy. Like I have an itinerary and a script that's like 3 pages long with all the shots I want to get. Like we went ham. I even got my buddy to come and play like Mr. Zan or whatever. Like it's going to be ridiculous. And the best part was I got Doug because I couldn't find a model to come in and do my Lee for, the stand-in parts or whatever for like what I wanted to spend. So now Doug's going to be dressed in drag for that one. So we went dress shopping.
Thanks, Doug. He's taking one for the team.
Oh, yeah. Well, he kind of deserved it. Like, I forget what he fucked up, but he fucked something up. And I was like, yeah, man. So listen, I can't find an actress for my league. Guess what, bro? We're getting you a dress. So we're at Walmart. Fast forward. This is just the other day. We're at Walmart getting a dress. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm putting it on. I'm like, this looks good. And this like little lady's like, she's gonna love it, and I'm like, it's not for her, it's for him, and we just had like 3 different conversations as like with different Walmart shoppers as we're like putting dresses on him, like with the hanger up against. We're like, oh yeah, I like that one, that looks good, yeah. Oh, that one's got the padded bra, sweet. I don't have to put the coconuts in there now. Like yes. So just so much that we did and spent and like just set up, and I'm still like just getting a couple odds and ends like fake blood and shit like that. I just picked that up and I'm just like looking at it again and looking at everything we spent. I'm like, this is going to be the biggest production music video I've ever done. It's going to be the biggest dollar budget for do work ever in the history of do work. Not that it's that old, but and I'm just so excited about that because not only is it a joke record, but it's probably some of the best stuff I've ever written and recorded. Like it goes toe to toe with the Seeking Sirens stuff all day. Yeah. It's really good. Some of the best melodic work I've ever done too. I'm really proud of it. And I've got that coming out in a couple months. I think it's coming out in August, beginning of August. Awesome. So like I've got all this stuff I'm trying to do for Seeking Sirens. I'm like, yeah, man, this is exciting. And then I've got like, but oh shit, I got the shoot on Sunday. Oh man, we got that thing with Jai. Oh, I can't do Thursday. Oh shit. All right, shit. And I'm just trying to put it all together, and it's been great, but I honestly, I'm so busy. I haven't had the time to really enjoy it sometimes. Yeah. Like the biggest thing for me, like once the shoot day's over and like I get to see like the final cut of that one, I'm like, oh, same thing with the Departing Ways. I got some notes I got to send in, and just to see the final thing, like that's going to be a moment for me where I'll be like, oh yeah, all right, cool, man. I'm going to get to enjoy it.
Yeah, a moment that you can stop and enjoy. You seem like the type of person, man, that's constantly being busy and probably don't like too much time to sit around and think too much to yourself.
No, honestly,
thinking about the next project and what you got going on as well.
This is the longest I've sat down without actually doing any work in at least 3 months.
Yeah, wow.
Like Yeah, and then so on top of it, I'm working full time, and then on top of that, I'm the president for my local labor union. That's like almost 400 members.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't stress to you like how much I do work, son.
Yeah,
It-
that's
that's it. We just do work. That's it. Like,
It's the
and
motto, mate. Do work. Can I ask quickly while I want to talk about go back to Seeking Sirens before we go anywhere, dude. Tell me a little bit about that cover, man. I dig the cover. It's kind of like this guy standing on a car, it's water everywhere. You got the sign there, the rain's coming down. It kind of it builds this little bit of an atmosphere for the album as well. For me, I feel I'm a big covers image kind of person as well, and I really just dig that image. And having to talk to you about how the track Departing Ways and the splinter and the meaning behind it, I kind of really get that cover now, dude.
yeah, like it's one of those things. It's a lesson that I continually learn every time I do a project, like with very few rare exceptions. Like I gotta say, like probably Sour Times, like those guys, Chris and Ben and Sour Times are just running circles around me right now because I just have been so busy and I've had so many things on deadlines.
Yeah.
But like aside from those guys and a few other small exceptions, I keep having to relearn the lesson of like the more people I involve in something I'm trying to do, the longer it's going to take, the more likelihood that it's going to get fucked up, and the more the likelihood will increase that it doesn't actually happen at all. So it was really cool for me because I didn't really know the guy that did the artwork. Kevin kind of lined that up, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I actually bought a cover from Mike D from Killswitch from Dark Icon Design, and I think it's on our Instagram somewhere. That was what I was going to use for the cover. And Kevin was like, "Yeah, man, I like this, man, but I've been listening to this stuff, man, and my buddy did so and so, he did this." And he's real quiet and soft spoken, so that's why I'm not making fun of him.
No.
Like so, but he's also Southern, like Southern U.S. So like he's got the drawl too. And sometimes he'll like do like little Southern isms just for me to enjoy. I'll be like, yee, which that's like a thing they do down there, and I love it when he does it. But anyway, so like he's like, yeah, man, I got this thing, and it was really cool. It jumped out to me instantly, and he kind of pulled off it too because the whole concept is like it really paints a contrary picture to that phrase that that you hear of like if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And like I always used to hear that and like teamwork make the dream work, blah blah blah, this that and the other. And I thought that the artwork was really cool because it gave a contrary narrative to that phrase of like, oh no, you can go fast and go far if you go alone, but if you go too far and something happens and you have no support, man, like if it floods out, what are you gonna do? You're alone. You're completely isolated, just stuck. And sometimes what I really liked about it was that the guy he didn't really look sad. He didn't really have an emotion to him. Like
you can't.
for me, the emotion was like it was almost like grim satisfaction for him of like, yeah, I'm fucked now, man. I got nobody, but man, look how far I got, and I'm just kind of an island unto myself, and whatever, I'm gonna make it work anyway. And that's what it spoke to me. That's what I pulled out of it, and obviously it resonated with me because that's kind of part of my life's a lot like that. Like I wind up having to with very few exceptions. Big plans get made. The ideas come up of like we're going to do this and it's going to be great, and then usually when it comes time to put in a lot of work or money, all of a sudden people don't want to do that big thing anymore. It turns into cloud talk, and so very often, and even to a degree, even with Seeking Sirens, like it gets to a point where like I wind up having to take the extra to push it forward and get it to completion. And I used to get really mad about that. And then finally, like a few years ago, it was like, if I just assume that that's going to happen until somebody proves to me otherwise, then that's really going to be cool for me because like I won't be surprised. I won't get mad. I won't get as mad about it because I already know it's coming. And because I know it's coming, I'll be able to better prepare for it and probably make something happen. And it actually turned out to be completely 100% true. I've released more stuff in the past 4 years than I did in the past 15 before. Because I started like freshman year of high school. Like I barely. I've been in bands since grade school, pretty much, and been at it a long time. So, but yeah, in the past 4 years, I've released more stuff and done more stuff in the past 4 years than I did in almost 15 before that. And it was because I walked into it being like, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm just gonna pay for it. And I'm gonna do this work. And if somebody really wants to come in and like be a partner or whatever, then they can contribute to whatever degree they want. But this is what I'm looking to do with this project from the start. So whatever I have to do, that's what's going to get done with or without anybody. And it's,
It's
it's a
got you where
very
you are today, dude. It has got you where you are today. Like you
it's
don't
a
get
really
as many
long
ears and people around you and the support. And a lot of bands don't realize you got to do this work to actually fucking make an impact and an imprint on the scene.
exactly, like it's a very lonely existence because like I work a lot on top of that, so I have the resources and the loot to go and pay for this stuff and do this stuff. So like all I do is work, and my relationships suffer, my friendships suffer. Like that's all I do. But the dividends, especially now, because like I said, I've been working on this stuff for Seeking Sirens. I finished that stuff almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So now I'm starting to get to reap some dividends from it all, and it wound up being the right thing. Lonely though I am, and like, don't get me wrong, I exaggerate a little bit about
No,
that.
I get it. Even on my end, dude, I get it. It's like you work, you come home, you're doing computer stuff. I'm lining up interviews, talking to bands, going through press releases, listening to music, get up in the morning, chatting to
Scheduling
bands.
stuff.
It's fun. Yeah, scheduling stuff. It's constant. And then you've got work, you've got family, you've got other things. I've got radio. And like for you, you've got all these bands. I totally get where you're coming from, man. I totally feel the same. There's a lot of relationships that do suffer, but you've got your eyes on the end goal. Like you know where you want to go, and I've got to do the fucking work to get there.
The first thing I want to say in response to that, Jai, is I can't stress how much I appreciate that you understand, because you do a lot of the same things that I do. So you know about a lot of the struggles that I have to endure that nobody on the outside would even get. Like wouldn't even comprehend that that's like, no, you've got to like do this, that, and the other thing to do that. That just don't happen on its own. Oh, you thought it was just this? No, it's this, that, and the other thing. So like, I really appreciate that you understand that, for one. And for two, I just, dude, thanks so much, man. Like I said, it's to the point where I don't get enough time, as much time as I want to like reflect and like enjoy the fruits of my labors. So like, but hearing that from other people, that like that they're seeing it and that they're enjoying it, and especially a few people, like she started off as a fan, but I consider her a friend now, this chick AJ. Her and her husband like love the Seeking Siren stuff. Like they fell in love with Surface, and over the past like year and change, like we've become friends. And it's like to hear people like that turn around and be like, like, yeah, like, I mean, I love your stuff, and lyrically it does something for me. Like I feel it, like that's probably the coolest thing,
Yeah. Yeah, it's an absolute great EP, man. I've been jamming the hell out of it, dude. I love your voice. I love all the projects. I love everything you've got going on at the moment. I was really banging out the grip this morning. Really, really killer track, man. The whole EP, everybody is going to absolutely love it. Comes out 3rd of June. Everybody go over, grab it, support it, because man, support is a big part of this scene. Like getting along, buying albums, even watching videos, liking, subscribing, and not just streaming, buying albums, going to shows, and supporting that way is the only way we're going to keep this scene going forward and strong. So I'm really hoping everyone gets behind this, grabs the EP Departing Ways, and you get to have a moment to really enjoy the release of it, mate.
Hey, man, I would appreciate it. And I appreciate that you're saying that stuff, and I hope it happens. But man, there's no money to be made.
I know.
Like, so this is like my yearly budget that I spend money on to do this stuff, and I do it because I want to put out quality stuff. Like I make first and foremost, I make music for me. So it's like, like I want to go back and listen to my stuff and be like, oh man, this is good, man. I like this and I like that, and like, man, this is heavy, this is good. Like I did a good job with this. Like that personal gratification is like the most important thing. And it's just so there's just like that there's no other goal beyond that. So
And that's
like
what a lot of bands should take as well. If they're watching this, learn that lesson first, man, that you're going to be putting in every single dollar. Do it for the fucking music and the love of it. And if anything comes out of it, you got to be doing it for the right reasons, like you are.
yeah, that's kind of where it was. Like I used to play a lot more. I haven't played a show in like I think 2018, 2019 maybe. It's been a hot minute since I've actually played a show. And but like I would do these shows all the time where we'd play with some touring package that was coming in, and it'd be this great sold out show, like 200 head or like 1,000 heads, whatever. But I'd have to move like 2-3 grand worth of tickets to play that show. And I can do that if I hustle my ass, but it was like, all right, it got to the point where I started looking at it like, why am I gonna move $1,000 to play this show where I'm gonna play this awesome show? I'm gonna get like 20 minutes that are gonna be like some of the best 20 minutes of my life, and it's gonna be great. But instead of taking that money for 20 minutes, I could then turn around and like record an EP or film a video with that same money. Like once I started thinking about it like that, it was like, what's more important to me? Because making it in any way, shape, or form is completely out of the question for me. Like that ship has sailed many years ago. I'm not looking for that. As a matter of fact, if it happened now, I probably would not accept it. I would think it was some sort of cruel, twisted joke from the universe. The goal was like, I just, when I'm old and like in the nursing home and shit, hopefully with some more tattoos, a white, snowy white beard that's a couple feet longer, I just want to look back and be like, man, I did some cool stuff and I got to work with some of the, the most well-known and greatest, musicians in the world. Like the Heart of Truth thing was awesome. Like, and I got to do a lot of cool stuff that I can, and still now to this day, like here we are 4 years later, and I listened to the first Concrete Kings record, which came out in 18. And I was like, yeah, man, like the sound quality isn't, for the drums, because we use program drums for that. We didn't have a drummer for that. It's like, yeah, man, but aside from that, I'm still really proud of this. I'm still really proud of the work. And I want to be able to do that when I'm like, 70, if I make it that long. And, sitting in the nursing home, be like, yeah, man, I did some stuff.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I did some
Yeah.
shit, man. I don't want to. And as we get older, you're like, man, time's.
I want that
passing.
1,000-yard stare from like the American Vietnam vets. I did some things, man, some stuff. Like I seen shit that'll turn you white. Like that's basically the only goal, and because that's kind of within its means, it makes it attainable. Consequently, I apologize about my nose. I have to do weekly COVID testing at work, and I have a deviated septum. So
That's so G, bro.
I have to force it through every fucking time to get in my sinus cavity. So like every time I get like a nosebleed. So I did that yesterday, and it's still like kind of mad at me today.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy time. Joe, look, man, this has been an absolute pleasure. I want to end it on the 1,000-yard stare because we're all going to be sitting there. I want to have a chat later in the year about Bleed when that's ready to drop as well, man. This has been an absolute pleasure. As I mentioned, Departing Ways comes out 3rd of June. Everyone grab it. I'm really loving it, man. It's a great EP. I can't wait till everyone gets to hear it. Do you have any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there, my friend?
Yes. So just super quick, obviously, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. I think the last time we did this, and I think it was for Heart of Truths, I was like, man, Josh's such a nice guy. I had such a good time talking to him. And I definitely have that feeling again now. So thank you. As far as, just anybody that's listening, thank you for the support and for grabbing, whatever, streaming my stuff, following the channel, following Spotify, all that stuff. And want to throw a very special thanks out to Dave Sustained and Chris Kilcup for coming in, and doing coming in and helping us finish out the release for the Seeking Sirens stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. I shout out to Curtis DeWar over at C Squared Music Marketing. naturally. I've been working with that dude for several years now, since before they were C Squared, long before. And, he's a good guy, and, he always takes care of me and stuff. And, I know that the majority of the work I'm doing is because I'm doing so much stuff is part of it. But, he's been taking care of a huge thing that like takes the weight off my shoulders, which is promoting it. And, because I'm not trying to focus all my work on promoting it, I can like produce more. So, he's really kind of become a silent partner for me in terms of like as a musician. But yeah, that's basically it. So thanks to Curtis DeWar, C Squared Music Marketing. And again, Jai, thank you so much for having me, man. It's always a pleasure.
A legend. Cheers, brother.
Yeah.